I never thought my own family would forget about me. 3 years ago, I was in a serious car accident. I survived, but I was badly injured. I had broken bones, deep cuts, and weeks of recovery ahead of me. When I woke up in the hospital, I expected to see my family beside me. But no one was there. At first, I made excuses for them. Maybe they were busy. Maybe they were worried. Maybe they were on their way. Days passed. Then a week. Then 2. The nurses became the people I talked to every day. They checked on me, encouraged me, and listened when I felt scared. Sometimes I watched other patients receive flowers, visits, and hugs from their families. I tried not to cry when I saw that. I called my mother several times. Most calls went unanswered. When she did answer, she always seemed distracted. "Your sister needs a lot of attention right now," she would say. My younger sister had recently started a small business, and my family was completely focused on helping her. Every conversation somehow turned back to her dreams, her plans, and her future. Meanwhile, I was learning how to walk again. 30 days passed before my mother finally visited. 30 days. She stayed for less than 20 minutes. I wanted to tell her how lonely I had been. I wanted to tell her how many nights I spent staring at the ceiling, wondering why nobody came. But before I could say much, she checked her phone, gave me a quick hug, and left. When I was discharged from the hospital, I returned to my small apartment alone. Recovery was slow. I couldn't work for several months. Money became tight, but I managed. I cut expenses, worked part-time when I could, and slowly rebuilt my life. The hardest part wasn't the physical pain. It was realizing that the people I loved most weren't there when I needed them. Over time, I accepted it and moved forward. Then one afternoon, nearly a year later, my mother called. For a moment, I thought she was calling to ask how I was doing. She wasn't. "Your sister has an amazing opportunity," she said excitedly. "She needs some financial help." I listened quietly. Then came the number. $14,000. My family wanted me to contribute the money to help expand my sister's business. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The same family that barely visited me during the most difficult month of my life was now asking me for a huge amount of money. I asked a simple question. "Where were all of you when I was in the hospital?" The line went silent. For several seconds, nobody spoke. Finally, my mother said, "That was different." Different. Those 2 words hurt more than I expected. To them, my pain was different. My loneliness was different. My struggle was different. But their request for money was apparently important enough to bring the whole family together. For the first time in my life, I said no. Not angrily. Not loudly. Just firmly. I explained that I was still recovering financially and emotionally. More importantly, I explained that support should go both ways. The call ended badly. Some relatives accused me of being selfish. Others said family should always help family. But where was that family when I needed help? That night, I sat quietly and thought about everything that had happened. For years, I had chased approval from people who only seemed to notice me when they needed something. Saying no wasn't easy. But it was necessary. Sometimes the most painful lesson is realizing that being related to someone doesn't guarantee they'll treat you with love. And sometimes the strongest thing you can do is choose your own peace, even when others don't understand. That day, I didn't lose my family. I simply stopped losing myself.